My name is Esosa Ikolo, and I'm the director of Parent Power Plus. At Parent Power Plus, we provide a complete and unique training that empowers parents and carers of children in primary school education, and this affords them the knowledge and the skills they need to effectively prepare and support their children as they prepare them for the 11+ exams. The 11+ exam is a unique exam, a highly competitive one and selective for that matter, which pupils have the opportunity to write if they desire to get into grammar school education. Students normally write the exam when they are 11 years old, and hence the name of the exam being 11+ exam. All right, so today I've decided to put together this short video to enlighten parents out there about the main stages of the preparation process of the 11+ exams. And this stems really from queries that I have had from parents from different sources, be they those who have come through my training and otherwise. They have been quite keen to understand what is expected of them. You know, some are foreign to the country and so they don't know much about the 11+ education. Others are just new to the 11+ process, and so they would like to understand what is required of them. What are the main stages? What do they do if they've decided that they want their children to sit for the exams? And so I'm hoping that with this video, which I've titled the A to Z, otherwise a roadmap to the 11+ process, will afford you a basic knowledge of the main stages and what you should look out for and what you should know. All right, let's crack on. So number one, excuse me, if you're deciding that you'd like your child to have the opportunity to sit for the exam, the first thing I suggest you look into is to carry out a skills and ability gap exercise. A skills and ability gap exercise or analysis. What I mean is, first and foremost, you need to work out how much time your child has between now and the exam. So for the purpose of this video, if we take 12 months duration as the time your child has to prepare, and you work back from that time of the exam, 12 months back, you need to ascertain how much your child knows right now and how much they need to know by the time of the exam. And how to do that is you need to understand the scope of the 11+ topic or the subjects. And number one key thing is the children write the exam when they're in the first term of year 6. So that tells you immediately that they wouldn't have covered most of year 6 curriculum. And the 11+ exam is made up of or tests knowledge on all of the key stage 2 or primary school curriculum and more. The more is the verbal, non-verbal, spatial reasoning, etc. And so it goes without saying that your child cannot afford to operate just on the periodicity of teaching or the knowledge that they gain from the primary school teaching, because that will be inadequate for them to sit for the exam and excel in it. So the onus becomes you and your child finding a way to do much more to make up for that gap. So in analyzing your child's skills and strengths, you will determine, you should be able to tell, oh, my child knows only so much at this point and he or she has 12 months to go. So for us to bridge that gap, this is how much work we need to do. And this first stage of the gap analysis will lead you to the next stage, which I've termed the personal development plan. So you need to devise a plan on how you're going to support your child. Now you know what's missing, you know how much gap there exists, and for you to bridge that gap to ensure your child knows enough to write the exam. And so in producing a development plan, there are some key things I'll cover. One of them is you need to understand the resources that are there. What are the available 11+ resources? There are so many. There are thousands of, or let me just say hundreds of 11+ resource providers. And of course, I wouldn't expect that you'll go and purchase from all of them. Some are online, some are on printed copies, you know, variety of sources. You need to know what these are and know which ones are recommendable, which ones have been tested and trusted, okay, so that you can begin to work with your child on using those resources. In the same vein, you need to determine the right tutoring type for your child. By that, I mean, do you think your child will benefit from a private tutor, so one-to-one? Or perhaps your child will do better learning among a number of children, so in a tuition center. Or maybe you think you're capable, and so you can tutor your child yourself. So you need to consider all of these, and for each one, there are key things you must know. You know, for example, before you choose a private tutor, you need to understand what to look out for. How do you know that the private tutor would deliver to your child's educational needs? That's a real key thing you have to understand. And even if it's you providing it, there are so many things you need to know about how to support your child, how to be there for your child, the skills to introduce your child or teach your child. The list goes on and on. But anyway, you need to determine what tuition type suits your child. All right, so this is still part of the personal development plan where you choose the tutoring type. And in doing so, you need to, so we've talked about the resources and the tutoring type. The third thing under the personal development plan is for you to devise a study timetable. So I've talked about how there is so much your child must cover to adequately sit for the exam. There's the scope of the 11+ exam, you know, that your child needs to take in, know, get familiar with, the skills that is required, because really the 11+ exam is not just about intelligence. It's about intelligence and a number of other skills, such as how to answer questions, speed, accuracy. So all of that needs to be well considered as you prepare a study timetable for your child. So in terms of the 12 months, you're going to have to look at, do you want your child to study every day of the week? And if so, how many hours in a day? And by study, I mean personal study with the 11+ resources that you should now know by this time, in addition to the tuition type. So would you like your child, if you would like your child, for example, to have a private tutor, would the tutoring take place twice a week and maybe 2 hours 2 times a week? Is that enough for your child, or is that too much? These are the things you need to consider and develop with your child. So it's useful to develop the study timetable with your child. You need to work out how many hours is suitable, among other things that your child may be doing, extracurricular activities, family events, and family responsibilities, and all of that, family activities. All of that need to be considered together. You can't do the study timetable in isolation. Okay, for it to work, you need to consider it among a number of other things and do it with your child. So these are the sub-processes under the personal development plan. Moving on to step 3, you need to find information about the school. What do you know about the school, the grammar schools that you would like your child to attend? Many times, let me not say many times, a few times, I've had parents who, further along my training with them, they tell me, oh, I don't know any grammar school in my area. I've not considered it. You just brought it to my attention. And I asked them, how do you want your child to go into a grammar school if you have no clue of which grammar school? Okay, so this is really key. And as I go further in the stages, you will see why this is so key. And to find out about the grammar school in the area where you live, or in an area where you would like your child to go into a grammar school, you can do that by doing a simple Google search. Just find out grammar schools in my area, all right? And you'll see a whole list of them come. It's either you do a Google search, or there's this website that is really useful. It's the National Grammar School Association website. On that website, there's a search bar where you just type your area. So if it's London, if it's Birmingham, if it's Coventry, and it will list the grammar schools in the area. And it provides a nice map of the different areas or regions in the country where you can also click and you see a list of all the grammar schools. And when you have this list, you can now go into the respective school's website to find out even more. You find out about the admission process, the criteria for admission, and a whole lot more. All right. Another information that is useful that you will find on the grammar school website is what's called the open days and open evening. And that brings me to a sub-process under finding about the school. The open days or open evenings are periods all throughout the year that each respective grammar school set aside to invite and host parents and their children to come learn about the school. So it's a useful opportunity for you and your child to know more about the school that they may be getting into. You know, it doesn't last for more than 2 hours. They take you on the tour around the different facilities of the school. You listen to the head teacher's speech, you hear the head boy or head girl talk, and a whole lot more. It's so beneficial. Sometimes it's held on Zoom. In fact, nowadays it's being held on Zoom because of the coronavirus pandemic. But usually you have the opportunity to go into the school and have a look at their facility and learn more about the school. All right. So with that knowledge, you carry on tutoring. All of this happens alongside your tutoring, either you tutoring or the tutor from outside, a private tutor or tutoring center. You strengthen the knowledge of your child. You support them with all the skills and requisite knowledge that they require for the exam. That carries on without fail. Be consistent, because that's key as well, to be consistent. And between end of April and early May, the online exam application window opens up. So this is the 4th stage. Okay, so the first stage is skills gap analysis. The second stage is preparing a development plan, which has 3 sub-processes. And then the 3rd stage is finding the school. The 4th stage is making the online applications, making the exam application online. Because if your child is to write the exam, they need to apply for the exam, don't they? Okay, so to do that, you need to know the local education authority that the school or schools are in. So this is why you need to have an idea of the school first before you go on to make the online application. So for example, I live in Walsall. I'll need to go to Walsall Local Education Authority website to make that application. And so because I know that the schools I want my child to attend are in Walsall LEA, I'll make the application there. So the window is from around early April or May to June. In between this time, you're at liberty to go into the online application, put in some information, save it, and finally, when you need to send it, making sure it's before the closing date, you click on the submission button. As soon as you submit, you should get a confirmation email to say, yes, we've received your submission, and further information will be sent out to you. And you carry on as usual, providing support for your child, ensuring that they cover as much ground as they need to cover. And in August or early September, latest, you should receive a letter from the LEA confirming to you the exam center information, what you should know, what your child should know, what your child should bring or not bring to the exam center, and then your child's exam reference number. Okay, and this helps a lot to prepare you for that. So you could, if you want to, before the exam date, drive down to the venue if you're not familiar with it, so that you get to know the route and a few other things about the venue. Anyway, so the exam itself, the 11+ exam, is held in September or October, depending on the local education authority, and it's a day exam of a few hours, not more than 2 to 3 hours that the exam is held, and hopefully your child finds it good. And a week after the exam, there's also an alternative exam date for children who missed on the first exam due to some exceptional problems, say with their health or a religious event or anything important that you would have alerted the authorities about. So that exam gets held a week after the main exam. And then you move on and you wait out, you carry out another waiting game for the results. The results come out roughly in mid-October. So your child gets to know if they've, I wouldn't say, pass the exam. But well, let me use the word pass, but it all depends on the qualifying score of the school and the cutoff score. So, you know, those are quite gray areas that parents need to be well informed about, because your child could have a high grade but still not meet the qualifying score of the school of their choice. Anyway, in mid-October, you get to learn of this. And even at this time, nothing stops you from conducting another open day or open evening just for you to find out more about your school, about the school that your child will go. You could go to the same school twice just to make up your mind, because at the end of October, you're expected as a parent to complete what's called the local authority form or the common application form. So LAF or CAF form, which is a form where you as a parent need to include between 1 and 6 secondary school choices for your child, okay? And this is normally expected to be a mix of grammar schools and comprehensive schools. And be careful that you prioritize the schools in the way you want it, because the LEA will follow your prioritization in allocating a school to your child. And of course, the allocation is going to be based on your child's score and the respective grammar schools qualifying score. All right, so you have between mid-October when you get the result and the end of October to send in your CAF form. Please make sure you don't fail to do that. And then another waiting game carries on till the first Monday in March, which is also called the National Offer Day. And that's the day you receive a confirmation letter from the local authority stating that they have allocated one school to your child. And that school could be the grammar school if your child meets the criteria, which includes the cutoff or the qualifying score, or a state comprehensive school if your child did not meet the criteria, the admissions criteria for the grammar school that you should have prioritized in your list. And really, that brings us to the end of the main stages of the 11 plus, because when you get that allocation, you will need to complete a form and send it to the school, the grammar school, or hopefully the grammar school and not the comprehensive school. And they will write you back telling you more information about induction, onboarding, etc. And that really are the stages, the key stages of the 11 plus process. I'm going to recap again. The first stage is for you to assess your child's skills and ability gap. So conduct a gap analysis so you know how best to support your child. And the second stage is developing a personal development plan for your child. And in that plan, you would ensure you are familiar with the resources out there. You would ensure you are familiar with the different tutoring services and decide on which one suits your child's learning style. And thirdly, you would devise a study timetable for your child to help bridge whatever gap exists in their knowledge and skills. And so that's step 2. Step 3 is you finding out about the school or schools that you would like your child to apply to. And step 4 would be carrying out the online application for the exams. And step 5 would be for you to complete the LAF or the CAF form, which is the local authority form that you provide your secondary school selection list or choice list as it is called. And that's really okay. And then the 5th stage, am I counting rightly? The 5th stage, or is it the 6th stage, whichever, is when you receive the national offer information on the 1st of March or the first Monday in March. It all depends. And those are the stages that are involved in the 11 plus preparation process. I hope you have found them useful. Let me know what you think. Put your comments in the comment section. And if I've missed out anything and you'd like to ask me, drop a comment there. I'll go check and I'll respond. Or perhaps you want to send me an email. Drop me a line at hello@parentpowerplus.co.uk, and I'll do my best to respond to you soon after. If you like this video, remember to like it, subscribe, and share with your friends. Bye now. Take care.